Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Boxing News.
Dmitry Bivol has officially vacated his world title. And look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And Dmitry Bivol has officially vacated his WBC light heavyweight title. He's committed to the third fight with Artur Beterbiev, the trilogy, likely to take place in October. This is really, really interesting. We've already heard that, Dmitry Bivol was looking at the trilogy or David, and he stated and his team stated that, hey, they're going to do whatever Turki Al-Sheikh tells them to do. So this is all based on Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh is what's holding up the best fights in boxing. Turki Al-Sheikh is what's stopping the best fights in boxing. Turki Al-Sheikh could have easily made Canelo Benavidez. Turki Al-Sheikh could have easily made Bivol Benavidez. Turki Al-Sheikh could have easily made those fights. Yes, credit to Turki. He's made some very big fights, but he's also made Canelo versus William Skull for $100 million. Turki Al-Sheikh is also trying to make, the winner of Ben and Eubank versus Canelo. So he's giving us fights we're not asking for and not making the fights we're demanding. At the end of the day, Turki Al-Sheikh is acting like every other promoter if he's not standing on business and willing to compromise and work with others. Now, I don't consider this a duck from Dmitry Bivol, simply because Dmitry Bivol is fighting a better fighter in Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev is a more dangerous fighter, a more accomplished fighter than David Benavidez. But even with that being said, and I don't consider it a duck, I feel bad for David because David has earned the right for his world title shot. David deserved an opportunity to fight the best, and we should have gotten a Dmitry Bivol versus David Benavidez fight. Unfortunately, Turki Al-Sheikh became a hater and did everything to stop the fight. Dmitry Bivol has to take some of that blame because he got on his knees for Turki Al-Sheikh, which is disgusting. But at the same time, when you look at everything, David shares some fault in this as well, because David, all he had to do was keep it 100% and do everything he could have to make the fight. One thing he didn't do was the fact that he was making demands saying that he will not fight in Saudi. You're not the A side. You're not the guy that can call the shots or make demands. He made it difficult on Turki Al-Sheikh and Dmitry Bivol to make this fight because this guy was not willing to compromise, was not willing to work with him. He was trying to call shots. You can determine where you will and where you will not fight. At the end of the day, we understand all of this, but hey, when you look at it, we got to be honest and unbiased about it. I feel bad for David Benavidez. Hopefully he gets a big fight down the line. Hopefully he gets the Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev fight. And hopefully that comes at some point next year, because we know it won't happen this year. We know David Benavidez will not fight Artur Beterbiev, and he will not fight Dmitry Bivol this year, because if their fight is scheduled for October, David Benavidez is going to have to take another fight this year, and hopefully next year he'll finally get one of those elite top names. Now, I'm not mad at David. He definitely deserved this shot. People call me a David hater, and then some people call me a David fanboy. It doesn't make any sense. I think that David deserved this shot, but at the same time, he should have done more to try to make this fight. And also think that people got to stop glazing Turki Al-Sheikh, because Turki Al-Sheikh is basically a guy that's holding up some of the biggest fights in boxing, and that's disgusting.